Hello, and welcome back to Bloodborne. Today is Xmas, and so we are bestowed by a god unto a virgin womb. No, I'm not joking. This is literally the plot of Bloodborne. Although I don't think the infanticide is part of... Hey, what up, Seth? It is part of the nativity scene, but I could be wrong. I'm not particularly hip with the Christ verse. But what you got going on? Did you have a nice holiday, if you celebrate? I did. I got a bunch of clothes. My roommates got me a folding saw. Yeah! Lovely. We love to hear about our friends supporting our psychopathic tendencies. That's what real friendship is. And I'm tired of pretending it's not. It's for green wood. Yeah, sure it is. Is there a different... Now, pardon my ignorance. Green wood? What specifically does that entail? I know a bunch of different woods. You know, birch, chestnut, walnut. Walnut's good, but I'm allergic to it. Oak as well, pine. What does greenwood specifically mean? God. If only this child would shut up, then we wouldn't have to ruin Christmas. Greenwood is fresh, like hack off a tree limb. Okay. So, like, I think typically when we dealt with fresh limbs, I remember skinning them with a pocket knife and then making really shoddy bow and arrows out of them. I don't think that's quite what you're doing, but just so we're on the same sort of page. Hey, it's the T-Rex. Fuck! It dodged backwards instead of to the side. That happens sometimes. What up, T-Rex? Just saying hi before playing a game with my family. Ooh, what game? Can I play? How's your Christmas? Pretty good. I got a bunch of new clothes. I got a cool wooden, like, 3D puzzle of a steampunk airship, which I'm very excited to build. And then also a full year's subscription to PlayStation Network, so I can continue playing with friends. Yeah, I actually have a draw knife as well, but I have to keep the bark to as intact as I can for the critters' hides. Family-friendly cards against humanity. Oh, so apples to apples? Merry Christmas, T-Rex. What's up, Seth? How are you? One of these days I'll learn to multitask. But until that day, I will in fact be cut to ribbons by random hooded figures. But that's okay, because I get better. I got gift cards and a projector for D&D. Hell yeah! Oh, that's sick. Is it like one that points down? My day's been pretty chill. Is it like the one that points at the table, so it like shows the map? Yes, sir. That's cool as shit. Come on. The Mothman does not trouble himself with the opinions of whatever the heck you are. Hey, gotta go. Maybe see you later. Alright, I'll be streaming again later with Figgy and maybe Ro, so I appreciate you dropping by. Have a wonderful time. If it wasn't already dark out, I'd be using my saw already. Yeah. It's a shame. If you were a little bit earlier, you probably could have gathered some wood before right, this is the drop-off point that I was thinking of. I love beating pigs in the snoot. Although I don't know if those are pigs anymore. But yeah, as I was saying, this game is actually a Christmas game in, I think, possibly the worst fucking way possible. Should I elaborate? I think I'll elaborate when we get to the boss of this area. Because it makes you go, oh, that's cool, and then immediately you go, oh no. Okay, so we drop down into the muck. Who else is here? It's going to be relatively nice over the weekend, or over the week or so, so I'll be moving my wood stock around and probably cutting more of it down. Heck yeah. Get some, immediately launching into work mode. Getting your projects done and all of that. I got a book from my dad's current partner that's what is it called? The Influencer Code: How to Unlock the Power of Influencer Marketing, because they heard that like I was streaming and doing stuff, so like, oh, this will be good. And it's not exactly what I was looking for, because it's an external view. It's basically how to work with influencers, which is not exactly my goal here. I would much rather build my own sort of... Oh boy, that's so weird. Yeah. Like, at first I was like, oh, that's very thoughtful. Like, maybe it's a study of, like, the algorithms and that stuff, but no, it's marketing stuff, and I was like, thanks, I'll read it. Yeah, but I can't really complain too much. She's pretty nice to the family, respectful, keeps her distance, all that, so I can't really dislike her, but it's also like, who the fuck are you? Oh no. I have alerted the Horde. Y'all hear something? What's good? You gonna come over here? The cowardice of these lads. But yeah, it was a thoughtful gift, but kind of just weird receiving it in general. Yeah, come on. There we are. Has some blood vials. The Mothman is stacking up on blood. I don't even need to bother with you now that I've gotten past the other ones. They're the real trouble. And here we go. Who the bloody hell is this? We'll get right back to that. First, there is a chest around here that I think would be really funny if it were the only mimic in the game. I cannot pick up Yusefka's blood vial. Mercrism. Thank you, Ro, and happy birthday as well. Yeah, I understand. I feel bad because I haven't been able to get much in the way of gifts from people around me. I mean, lack of money and whatnot. Yeah, same. Yeah, how you doing, Ro? We are currently about to kill... So this entire game is about communing with great old ones, these cosmic entities, gods beyond our understanding. And because the gods can't have children of their own, they use people as surrogates, such as this woman, who is colloquially known as Blood Queen Yarnum. Gave birth to an infant great one. So essentially... But now with my carving knife and my folding saw, y'all better be prepared. Woohoo! Hell yeah. But yes, so a unknowable cosmic force impregnated this virgin woman, not through the schmecks, but through magic. And now we have to go kill the miracle child. We have to go kill Jesus. We are literally going to smother him in his crib. Let's fucking go, boys. I do not have any enchantments, so we're gonna try doing this raw real quick. Wee, wee. Oh, am I getting a little bit of stick drift? Oh, it's been so long. How are you, my beloved stick drift? Anyways, one final look at your demise, the Yarnum Mothman. Let us prep. And now we have an infant to smother. Woohoo! Hold on. Stick drift really does kind of ruin the mood when you're trying to slow walk and be cool. And this child does in fact have a name. They're named Murgo, whose name we have heard quite a few times now. They are also the source of the nightmare. A great old one being born here in Yarnum. It has disastrous effects for everyone involved. It has caused madness unending. This is Murgo's wet nurse. I think one of the coolest looking bosses in the game. Unfortunately, they are also one of the easier ones once you learn their patterns. It's been a hot minute, so it may take me a bit to get used to it again. But as you saw from the first attack, she does not do a lot of damage, seeing as I have a total of, like, I think maybe 100 defense. Well, let's just calculate real quick. 50, 80, 120. So 170, which, if you scroll up, you can see that some of the better armors are already almost that already. But for cosplaying as the Mothman, I will make an exception. And then we will get right back to Murgo's wet nurse. I don't know if I caught the little music box tingle in the theme before. Yeah, the title of that song is actually Margot's Lullaby. We have heard it repeatedly through the game, and yes, it is literally. My personal theory is that it's not just a reused asset, but it is a song specifically written for Murgo, who is, of course, the child of Blood Queen Yharnam, for whom this city is named after. So, naturally, I believe that the song was written for her child, and because people don't really know about the Great Old Ones until we end Rom's ritual, they just think it's a lullaby. Which is why they are so keen to sing it. But yeah, this is Yharnam. This is the woman that everyone be talking about. She's a little gaunt and pale of face, I must admit. Also, notice that her hands are bound. She's in some form of wedding dress, but it doesn't seem good. In fact, she's crying. And we don't really get an explanation for it, but my guess is that this ritual, this child, was not conceived of her own will. I think that the powers that be in this society, upon summoning the Great Old Ones, may have trapped her and used her for their own gain. I don't think she really has a say in her own life, really. We're gonna go ahead and send this back down. Let's go say hi to Murgo's wet nurse once again. Dun 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 bum 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 bum. Yeah, I think it's hug the left side of her is the strat. And she will turn invisible and create these mirages. You need to be kind of careful. She does. Ooh. So that's the West nurse. Then where are the titties? We don't really understand Great Old One physiology, if they even need milk or whatever. In fact, there's a great theory about what the hunter's dream is that I will cover later. When we get back there, but for now, I'm gonna keep that under my hat, because I actually kind of like that theory a lot. I like that theory a lot. For some reason, this elevator just does not want to stay down here. Dun, 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 dun. Boop, 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 boop. But yeah, you can hit her, I think, and then she just disappears. But I think it's kind of neat just to keep her here. Kind of translucent, ghost-like. Kind of just haunting. Oh, there's two my brain forgetting that there's more than one elevator on the way to this boss. Let's see. Do I have anything else I want? Nah. I could just do this. Raw. I'm doing the wet nurse raw. You heard me, boys. Let's get that on the quote, eh? Caught me on the backslash. Not quite behind her. So you do have to be careful of her giant fucking appendages, but she is overall not that much of a threat. I say as I die. But you can see that I am, despite everything, not doing terribly. Even with all of my insane choices that I've made. If I really wanted to, I could probably use my gun as well, but frankly, sometimes I just forget it's there. Counts the limbs? Now that's a decapod. Hell yeah. Unless there are legs under there. Unknown, but, fun fact. Do you remember my, in Monster of the Week... Wait, were you part of Monster of the Week? No, you weren't. No, never mind. Okay, so there is a character I designed for Monster of the Week called the Mask Maker, who the main inspiration for them is Margot's wet nurse, because specifically I love the sort of invisible head that's draped in cloth. I absolutely adore that specific visual. And so I had that, but there is a mask of bone. No, I was not invited. Sorry about that. Not paying attention. That's what that'll get you. There was a mask of bone that's like expressionless at the end of the hood that doesn't appear to be connected to anything, but moves as if it were. I really like that character. I'm probably going to bring them back in a short story or something. But essentially what it was some kind of being beyond space and time that recorded... do you know what Victorian death masks are? Where when people died in Victorian England, a popular fad was to droop wax onto the face to preserve their death face, and it was called a death mask. And obviously it didn't stay on. They would take it off, and they'd have this mold of people's faces. I find that really interesting. You have a mask maker with a bone mask, given that it's very similar to a Hollow Knight character. Yeah, Hollow Knight actually came out, well, before, but that wasn't really my main inspiration. But yeah, Victorian death masks are interesting. Yeah. So what it would do is it passively observed, like, the planes of existence. And what it did was it recorded the faces of everyone and everything at the moment of their death in its vast collection. Drip the Bone? Hell yeah. And so it would gaze throughout. One of my characters was basically set to die in agony, and so I had him appear before this character who showed the face he would have when he died, and then go, but your fate has changed. I'm not allowed to show you your new mask, but I need to carve it, and so I have brought you here to gaze upon you. And so it basically just stood there being creepy, reached into where its neck would be, and produced a solid, like, log of bone, and just started carving away slowly. And then when it was done, it just kind of kicked him out. So that was a really fun little character that I made that I really like. Oh, shit. Yeah, she doesn't really have any way to counter you from attacking her from behind. Darn it. What does drip the bone mean? I feel like I've heard that before. But yeah, if I haven't talked about my short story setting that I used for my tabletop game, that might be a fun topic. Excuse me. Christmas dinner is deciding it wants to come up for round 2, as it does. But, so, for those of you who don't know, I write short horror stories. One day I may put them on the channel, but for now, I'm going to stick to playing horror games, and maybe I'll upload them as shorts or something. My only real problem is that they're like 15 minutes to read aloud, and shorts are typically like 3 minutes. But I should probably look for food myself. Yeah, probably. Sustenance. But my setting is called Bête Noire, French for the Black Beast. And it is based on the works of Lovecraft, as well as TV shows like True Detective. And, oh, my HP is low. I didn't realize I got hit. And what it is it's a kind of noir-esque cosmic horror French. Exactly. You've mentioned it here and there, and it sounds interesting. Yeah, I wanted to get into the mysticism and... Oh. Sort of... similar to, like, Icelandic or other really interesting mythologies, Louisiana has a lot of superstition around it, so I wanted to capture some of that. Oh, shit. It cut through it. Damn. So I created a sort of alternate version of New Orleans mixed with, I think Chicago was my other... No, it was Boston, I think. I wanted to get sort of that New England, Lovecraft energy, but also bring it into environment of less like woodlands and fear and more bayou and isolation, which is kind of the idea behind it. I've always loved the idea of essentially swampland that no one can really map out. It's always changing. It's hard to move through. It's suffocating. There are lights at night, unexplainable phenomena. Always been a big fan of that kind of setting, which inspired Bête Noire. So, a lot of symbolism for, I think I said one of the big ones is literally being consumed, whether it be capitalism and the poverty of the people, or literally the city is eating people alive. Swamps are certainly a wealth of inspiration, especially for horror. Yeah. Oh. I feel like that shouldn't have hit. People gassed Appalachia, but the bayou just killed Paranormal. Or not, it's a great place to build horror. Yeah. So that's sort of one of my many settings, but I think that's probably my favorite. But especially the idea of things under the bayou, because we really don't know what could be down there. So I have basically cities upon cities upon cities of essentially civilizations that have fallen, and basically been built on top of. How did that hit me? But yeah, Bête Noire started as kind of just this idea of originally I wanted to do a Venetian kind of like waterways and stuff, but the more I thought about it, the more I realized, like, well, what would the waterways be used for? Smuggling or things, and poverty, the Great Depression, things like that would be a really great backdrop for this setting. So, yeah, over time I fleshed it out a lot more, but I think it's one of the settings that, rather than just being like, oh yeah, it's pretty cool, I've really come to love it. I've written a lot of stories for it. Layers upon layers of ages long gone. Yeah. So, no one knows how deep the city really goes, but they just live in sort of the topmost layer right now. Owie zowie. Ow. Bitch be hitting me. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to call you that. Please don't kill me. There's a huge river clog that used to exist in Louisiana that was pivotal to the local tribes. Fuck, you're doing it early. Yeah, no.
There's a huge river clog that was pivotal to local tribes. That could be something not horror in here.
Ooh. I appreciate you bringing that to my attention. I'm going to make a quick note of that. That was in the Mississippi in general. That shit was so cool. Ooh. Very interesting, but yeah, if you didn't know, Milo did a video on it. I don't know who that is. I think the only person I've ever heard of named Milo is from the Atlantis movie, which is peak, but I don't think that's who you're referring to. Hey Arnhem, how you doing, girl? Mini Minutemen. Never heard of them. I'll have to check it out. But yeah, anywhere that has like a rich cultural heritage, especially in sort of a melting pot like Louisiana. No Atlantis video yet, but we promise it exists. I can send you a link to his channel. Yeah, go ahead. Alright, let's see if I can get you any lower. But I don't think you can release an Atlantis video. That is a pretty good bit, not gonna lie. Come on, come on, come on, come on. And there we go. Now that we have killed the wet nurse, that nightmare slain does not come from killing Murgo's wet nurse, this entity from beyond. It comes after the crying of Murgo ceases. So, while we are not shown it, we absolutely just murdered a baby in their crib. Not joking, that is the plot of Bloodborne. This nightmare child from a god into a virgin womb via magic, essentially Jesus Christ, we have just murdered in their crib. Because having a living god on Earth is a very bad idea. Merry Christmas, everyone. Merry Christmas. Okay, but no, I kind of lost the evil laugh there in the second part, but I was gonna say, to be fair, the baby was evil Jesus, but I don't think really think the baby was evil. Yeah, no, it's not even evil. It's literally just by existing, it literally, like, warps reality and makes life uninhabitable for humans just by its mere existence. So it had to be done, but we still just murdered a kid. But before we head back, we're going to use that lantern. We are going to read this final... I forgot that each one is actually different, but 1/3 of umbilical cord. A great relic, also known as the cord of the eye. Every infant great one has this precursor to the umbilical cord. Every great one loses its child and then yearns for a surrogate. This cord granted Mensis audience with Murgo, but resulted in the stillbirth of their brains. Used to gain insight and, so they say, eyes on the inside. Although no one truly remembers what that entails. So, whatever that means, I don't know, but we're gonna eat it. Because yum 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 yum. But real quick, that line about the stillbirth of their brains... Mikolash created was the host of the Nightmare. The Nightmare being a separate realm of existence. Or specifically the Nightmare of Mensis. And you can see around are other students of Mensis who also tried to commune with these entities. My brain is stillborn. Yes, and when they tried to ascend to a higher plane, this is what resulted. They died before they could ever get close. So, I'd also like to point out that Blood Queen Yharnam is also physically not here. She has been dead for quite a while. But as her proximity to Murgo as its mother, she is still in between realms. And she bows to us and disappears. If only she could tell us what she meant. I'm getting so many weird, confusing signs. I don't understand women. But she thanks us for ending this nightmare where these scholars have basically trapped Murgo forever. And even though we kill her child, we free it from its torment and save the lives of basically everyone in Yharnam. So, she thanks us. It's dark, but it had to be done. And as a result, seeing as Murgo was the source of the Plague of Beasts, everything wrong in Yharnam, the workshop has begun to burn down because we no longer are needed.
Good hunter, you have come. Dawn will soon break. This night and this dream will end. Gammon awaits you at the foot of the great tree. Good hunter, your presence somehow soothes. I sense the ancient echoes. They course your veins.
Cool, cool.
Very well,
Now, let's see. Should we do strength or should we upgrade gun? We could also upgrade arcane, technically. Let's upgrade gun, because we're going to get more use out of it in the DLC.
Farewell, good mate.
Now, the DLC I was initially planning on playing through with Captain Calamity, my friend Eris. But I might do parts of it solo depending on availability. But tonight, I am going to be taking on our good buddy Gorman. Gerblurb. Do I have more insight? Use multiple. That should give me 8. We want a bit more. We're gonna do like 3. So while the place is burning down, we do still have use of the facilities. What was it? Bloodstone. Ooh. I was not aware I could purchase that already. I didn't realize you get it after defeating Murgo. I thought I had to do some stuff in the DLC to get that. But yeah, apparently I can upgrade stuff to level 10 now whenever I please. But I do need to farm insight for it. Shall we... Before heading to talk to Gurman, there are a few more things I want to do. One, I need to head to the Cathedral Ward to check up on all the NPCs and make sure everyone's doing okay now that the nightmare has ended. Or it's about to end. And we're gonna see how everyone is doing. Oh. Someone's missing. Let's check with Adela the nun first. Still giggly. What about the cynical man?
Nah, but I see through. I learned.
Nothing new from him.
Anything? Oh, good. You always bottle up everything inside.
It was just shot her in the face. We are not going to continue with her quest because she will die. She's already senile. No point in having her die a brutal way. Let her rot slowly from the inside out.
God, another one you sent made it here safe and sound. This place is right. Oh, God.
And his dialogue has changed because there are no longer 4 NPCs. But if we turn back and go through the hatch, the way we entered the Cathedral Ward, we will find Adele. Is it Adela?
It can't be.
I think it might be Ariana. No. So what we see here is an infant Great One. Similar, I know, to the Omen, at least visually. But we cannot target it. But as we did with Margot, we cannot allow these to exist. But upon killing it, she also dies. Ariana. That's her name. Let's take a look at her umbilical cord. Each one is different. Every Great One loses its child and then yearns for a surrogate. And Erden, the formless Great One, is no different. To think it was corrupted blood that began this eldritch liaison. And so we learn that the supposed good blood was in fact not so good. But yeah, that's pretty much everything we need now. Where is Ariana's shoes? It's not a key item. Is it in here? No. Am I blind? I might be blind. I want to read it before we go finally talk to Gurman. Oh, hey, look, a pearl slug. It's actually those are a reference to Demon Souls, an item called Sticky White Slime. Or originally it was Sticky White Stuff, which of course people joked was, the old, pelvic sneeze. Here we are. Shoes worn by Ariana, woman of the night in the cathedral ward. Innocent and cute in contrast with its owner. So there are a few things we know about Ariana. One, she is a prostitute. Two, her blood is actually vile blood, making her kin related to Annalise in Canehurst Castle. So she is former royalty who has escaped from the, essentially, Crusades to fall down and rely on prostitution. But even so, she was still probably the best, like, moral person we knew. It's a shame that that very blood that ran through her veins is what attracted Erden to give her a child, which we could not allow, unfortunately. Sad face. But nothing for it. We are going to repair everything, make sure it's all prepped, ready to go. And why would I do that, you ask? Why are you so concerned? What's the big idea? Well, there are two things we're going to do today. Or maybe not two things we're going to do, but there is something that you should know. If you remember, we received notes in the Nightmare of Mensis, and also in the very beginning of the game, to seek pale blood to transcend the hunt. Now, if you remember, we have not found any. But what we did find was a note saying that in order to reach the heights of this pale blood or whatever, we needed to consume 3/3 umbilical cords, and we have consumed 4 at this point. Now, there's one other note I want to call to attention real quick. When we first came to Yahar Ghul, the unseen village, and stepped outside for the first time, there was a note. And if you recall what it said, "Behold, a pale blood sky." Now, of course, when we first were there, it was... No. It was all... the one thing that was constant was the moon. And if you recall, we are agents of the moon. The presence from the moon has instructed us and led us down this journey, this hunt to rid the nightmare of Yharnam, to end this plague of beasts. Its dominion is this location, of the Hunter's Workshop that really exists in the Cathedral Ward. So, Gurman is also an agent of this moon presence. Let's see what he has to say.
Good hunter, you've done well. The night is near its end. Now, I will show you mercy. You will die, forget the dream, and awake under the morning sun. You will be freed from this terrible hunter's dream.
Now, what he means is, if we die in this realm, we will awaken in Yharnam with no knowledge of the multiverses. That's a fascinating way to connect lunacy to the moon. You'll see. But the moon is not actually the source of the Plague of Beasts. It is, in fact, an entity that has come to end the Plague of Beasts. It hunts other great ones, and we are its agent. But Gurman asks us to basically allow him to kill us and free us from whatever is holding us captive and keeping us in this realm. So basically to sever the connection between us and the moon. But I must simply know more. Yeah, that is a subversion of the usual moon causes madness. Yeah, the moons of madness. We are going to refuse.
Dear, oh dear. What was it? The hunt? The blood? Or the horrible dream?
Moon blinking
it doesn't
slowly.
matter.
Do it. It's funny you mention that.
It always comes down to the hunter's helper to clean up after these sorts of messes.
It's a reference to a book
Tonight,
series.
Gammon joins the hunt.
I'm afraid I don't know. But yes, this crippled bitch has been lying this entire time. His lazy ass, I don't want to join the hunt. I'm just gonna sit around here napping all day. Bullshit. He is quite difficult. Thankfully, I do some big boy damage. So, as long as I can time my shots well, I can absolutely destroy this old crotchety bastard who refuses to go to work. Phase 2. Finally getting serious, eh? Guardians of Gahul.
Accept your death. Be free.
Oh. Whoopsies. I forgot he had that. Guardians of Gahul. Moon blinking was basically a form of brainwashing, forced to spend the night staring at the moon, repeating their name. I vaguely remember that. They made a movie about that, right? Anyways, round 2. Ain't no thing. The movie was shit. Okay, I'll take your word for it. I don't even remember it, really. Thank you for my health back, good sir. But yeah, Gurman is the ultimate motherfucker who just refuses to get off his lazy ass and go hunt. You know, the thing he tells us to do, it's good for your health. Fucking bastard. Literally, what's his name? Charlie in the Chocolate Factory, Grandpa Joe, that's his name. Gurman is basically Grandpa Joe. No, thank you, sir. You've got a golden ticket? Yeah, right. Alright, so we want to get far away from this AoE. Oh shit, he's aura farming. Unfortunately, he is like 800 years old, and his PP don't work no more. So, there's only so much aura he can really have. And we receive the Old Hunter's Badge. But that isn't the end of things. Because the fucking moon has decided to descend and contact us. Now, if we were any normal hunter, its power would enthrall us. We would become its servant. Similar to what Gurman was. But we have gained the influence of a Great One ourselves via consuming umbilical cords. We now have the means to resist. Thank you. I was gonna teleport out anyway, but you made my job easier. Thank you, Moon Presence. Or should I finally say, Flora? If you recall, the doll said a prayer to an unnamed grave, asking for Flora to protect the hunter, us, and ensure that we wake safe. And you can see the sky has changed drastically, and the moon is now red. Now, there are two things going on there. One, Flora, the moon entity, is in fact not the moon, but the presence of the moon and a Great One themselves. So it is not a giant rock, it is a cool-ass, spiny, tentacly nightmare thing that tries to enthrall us, keeping us forever under its protection, as it probably views it. But as we are mere mortals, it would be similar to being enslaved and slowly withering away for all eternity, under its so-called love. Now, I don't think the moon presence is hostile. I think it genuinely wants to help people. If you recall, we have a rune, I believe, that states that the moon presence is benevolent and comes when called upon. Yeah, sympathetic in spirit and often answer when called upon. So, this is my new pet. He beat up my old one. Basically, so we are its new child. Now, this is where things get interesting, because, as I said, we have consumed umbilical cords, which is the start of a new Great One. It's not truly an umbilical cord, it's a precursor to one. Now, Flora, this entire realm, this entire world that we sit in with these strange pillars and the hunter's workshop, I have heard it described as a womb. Because naturally, these great old ones are not something that we can understand. Why would they have a physical flesh womb? Rather, I have heard theories that posit that we are essentially, at this point, Flora's child. And this entire realm is its womb where it nurtures and cares for its child as they progress to the next stage of life. And I have a really big smile when I say that. Some of you might know the canon ending of this game, but I should probably... Two things. One, we received a new weapon thanks to Gehrman. Trick weapon wielded by Gehrman, the first hunter. A burial blade. A masterpiece that defined the entire array of weapons crafted at the workshop. Its blade is forged with siderite, said to have fallen from the heavens. Gehrman surely saw the hunt as a dirge of farewell, wishing only that his prey might rest in peace, never again to awaken to another harrowing nightmare. So that pretty much confirms that Gehrman attacking us... Talk about brutal favoritism. Yes, Gehrman attacking us was not a sign of... oh, your use is now up, I'm going to kill you so I retain my position, or whatever. It's actually him trying to spare you the suffering of being enthralled by the moon presence and forever being trapped in this realm of great old ones and entities beyond our means, or what he sees as beyond the means of mortals. As I said before, he would be correct if we had not consumed the umbilical cords of great ones and thus gained our own, essentially. But I went there so that I could purchase this new weapon so I can show off one of the coolest frickin' weapons in the game. And I'm debating if I'm going to rock it for the DLC. But the Burial Blade, or Burial Blade, however you want to pronounce it, is a giant curved sword which has a pretty normal moveset, but its hitbox is interesting, of course, because it is a curved blade. Likewise, you don't have a thrust attack with it. You have a sort of overhead slash, and then when charging it, it becomes a side slash. Going back and then attacking will give you your thrust attack, and rolling out of it gives you an upward slash. It is an incredibly versatile moveset, and its transforming attack as you slam it down and transform it into a motherfucking scythe, which is so on point for this game that, frankly, I'm amazed it wasn't a starter weapon. I mean, I understand why it wasn't a starter weapon, but it feels like this should have been on the cover of the game instead of the Beast Cutter. Or the Saw Blade. So it, of course, has your standard swing around like a madman scythe moveset. Scythes, if you don't know, terrible, terrible weapons in most instances, unless you are a cool anime character, such as the Hunter. Your charge gives you a bunch more range. Your backstep and forward gives you a hook that pulls enemies in. Is actually surprisingly effective. And finally, our roll attack is another upward swing, this time with more range. And then, last of all, our transformation attack is a swing and turn it back into a sword. So it is a incredibly versatile weapon that we will be upgrading a shit ton. I'm debating if I want to use it for the DLC. Real quick, I need to Google whether I think beating the Moon Presence will start New Game Plus immediately. Yeah, so doing the final fight will in fact lead us to New Game Plus. But that's okay. Instead, we can... Hold on, how much do I need? Let's fortify the Burial Blade some more. What do we need? Bloodstone shards. We got shit tons of that. I sent you a general link to Mini Minutemen and then specifics for 1 to the Great Raft. Interesting. So we need 7 of that, and then... Oh, I definitely have enough of those. Definitely have enough Twin Bloodstone shards. So we're gonna get that to plus 6. Is it Blood Rock or Blood Stone that I can get here? Oh, I can get both. So for now, we are going to leave that. Instead, how long have we been going? About an hour and 12 minutes. Do we want to call it here? Or do we want to get a little preview of the DLC? Let's give you a little tease. A little taste of things to come. If you recall, thanks to an item called Eye of a Blood-Drunk Hunter, we are able to enter this area, not called the Nightmare of Mensis, but the Hunter's Nightmare. A place where all hunters go when they are driven to madness. And as we know, madness in this game is not what you would typically think of. It is, in fact, when someone gains insight to the world as it truly is. And as you look over there at what should be either the sun or moon, it is, in fact, the Eye of the Blood-Drunk Hunter. It's a collapsed pupil. So we are seeing through this eye into another world, the true state of the world, the past. Madness is when you become too correct. All too true. What's up? I'm back. Hey T-Rex, I'm debating whether or not to finish up here. Oh, God, the DLC hunters are brutal. Not only do they wield my favorite weapon in the game, which I will show off soon. I think I'm going to collect a few items to show off before ending. Is that another chainsaw? Oh, you've got no idea, Seth. This is my favorite weapon in the game. Whip. The cane whip. And rather than going that way, because technically there is no real way to go that way, this dude is going to come up, and you can see exactly how powerful this weapon is as he annihilates we're in trouble now. I think we have just aggroed 2 of them. Yeah, the DLC is no joke. Thankfully, neither are we, you know, when we can actually manage to not get safe. I'll eventually make a working con-safe cane whip sword. If you ever do, please send me the blueprints. Unfortunately, we did not get that shot off fast enough. It's not just a whip sword, by the way, Seth. I will show you when I pick it up for myself. It is my favorite weapon in the game. Or, as I'm gonna wait to reveal more about it, because I have a special little nickname for it that I think everyone should know. God, it does so much damage! Now, if you recall, we are heavily spec'd into skill, it's called. I document all the shit I make. Hell yeah. Yeah, we are heavily spec'd into skill in this game, which works with the cane whip. However, that weapon is an alternative to the cane whip, in that it focuses primarily on strength. So we will be leveling up strength and then seeing how it treats us. Oh, fuck you! And dude's got the glowy eyes. Now we could go down there and open up that little door, which is kind of a shortcut. Not really. It leads us fucking nowhere. So we're just gonna ignore it for now. Ow! I forgot how much the piercing rifle does. Yeah, in the DLC, they really said, fucking guns. I also plan on making a Shovel Knight cosplay at some point. That will be very cool. I think it's down there is where I pick up my beloved. Boom! Behold, the next DLC weapon that is beloved, the infamous Boom Hammer. Oh dear, that is not it. We are in some trouble. But while we're down here, we might as well pick up a few items. Oh shit, run! pretty much... Can't go that way. Where do I go now that I've fallen down? Oh, right, the stairs. Duh. Hey, dude. Bye, dude. It's over here. Ah, over there. I dropped onto the wrong ledge. My beloved, my guiding beast cutter. Never mind, he can just kill us. Fuck it, whatever. Yeah. Every single DLC weapon is insane. I love almost every single one of them. I'm trying to think if there are any that I don't. Beast Cutter. Now, at first glance, the Beast Cutter is unassuming. It's some kind of, like, club or cleaver. You know, got your standard moveset. Pretty good all around. But where it really shines is the fact that it has the highest stagger damage of any weapon. God, I get a shiver down my spine every single time I activate that. Oh, look how sexy that is. But this weapon, aside from being a strength-based whip weapon, also has a 3-hit combo where the third hit... Is it a 3-hit combo? It might be a 2-hit combo. Boom. Yeah, the second has the longest ranged attack of any melee weapon. Add that in with the fact that it's a heavy attack, and it does insane stagger or posture damage. And you have a recipe for destroying basically everything that deigns to show its face. And you remember seeing the damage numbers that some of those NPC hunters were getting against the beasts. 500 something, if you recall. We, with our fully upgraded whip cane, were doing a measly 400. This weapon is insane. It is probably my favorite. I typically main this weapon. A lot of the time I will run straight through the DLC to get it, because it's right at the beginning, and it's insanely good. But yeah, I think we're probably going to be running DLC weapons for the DLC so I can show them off. But now that you know, we are not playing around anymore. We have the real Bloodborne experience coming up. So, without... Very sorry, but I must bid you all adieu, as tonight is Christmas, and I have friends to go see. Gods, I want to make it so much. Yes, you also might notice that while I believe it is made of metal, I could be wrong, it looks like a giant jawbone. Real quick, I'm going to read the item description. A trick weapon wielded by the old hunters. Yeah, it is iron. This thick iron cleaver slices through the toughest of beast hides, and once transformed, the blade splits into sections, allowing one to lash it into the fashion of a heavy whip. This crude weapon relies on brute force and is regrettably inelegant, suggesting that the hunts of the earliest hunters made for horrific affairs. painted in sanguine blacks and reds. God, this thing kicks so much ass. But, as I said, time is up for now. I appreciate all of you dropping by. If you enjoyed, please like, comment, and subscribe. I am a very small YouTube channel, just starting out. If you're willing to, I would appreciate if you could subscribe and help me grow. Then again, you don't have to. I don't particularly care. It's a hobby. But I will ask that you at least take care of yourselves. So, thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed as much as I did. Have a wonderful Christmas night, and I will see you again later. Goodbye.